My name is not Gerd Chrzanowski. I'm Gunther Friedl, and I'm not complimentary. I'm just one of the managing directors of the Dieter Schwarz Foundation. I'm here together with my colleagues Reinhold Geisdorfer and Bärbel Renner. And it's a great honor to have you all here at this Munich, the Münchner Management Kolloquium. I can now tell you that I have asked Gemini what complementaire means in English, and they said general partner. So it's a great honor that we have somebody here who is, I would say, one of the leading entrepreneurs in Germany, more than 25 years of retail experience, the person behind the Schwarz Group, and the Schwarz Group is basically the group consisting of brands such as Lidl, Kaufland, Schwarz Digits, Schwarz Production, PreZero. So a large group, almost 600,000 employees, 175 billion in annual turnover. And the person that basically stands behind that and guides that is a person whose mandate is clear. He is basically the person to guide this global giant through the current megatrends, the digital transformation, but also sustainability, and what is also important for all of us, healthy nutrition. Please join me in welcome Gerd Chrzanowski, the general partner of Schwarz Group.
Yeah, warm welcome this morning. Thanks for the kind introduction, Gunther. Complementaire. Basically, it's that I'm personally liable for the company. And so I'm not a DAX CEO or anything like that. I'm not holding a 3-year or 5-year contract. I'm here for a longer term. And so that helps me. And that helps me, and that helps us to think in a long-term perspective. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to talk about sovereignty, digital sovereignty. I was asked to talk about AI, and well, I think we cannot talk about digital sovereignty without thinking about the geopolitical challenges which are out there. And basically, we can name it with the name Trump. So let's step back and have a better view on the situation, and I just listed up a few things which I think we all know, but when we hear them, it should bring us on a certain track. Starlink was disconnected for the Ukraine military. Trump wants to annex Greenland. Then he annexed Canada, 51st member state. Trudeau was already named as a governor. He stepped out of the World Health Organization. He withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord. Tariffs were capriciously implemented. Deals for raw materials with the Ukraine were made. And I think we all remember the meeting of Zelensky in the Oval Office. The IDF was disconnected. The IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, were disconnected from the Microsoft Cloud. And coincidentally, a week later, there was a peace agreement with Trump and Gaza and Hamas and Israel. There is a Cloud Act out there which allows US authorities to take data from all the hyperscalers, even without any information to the US hyperscalers customers, knowing that the department where European authorities or customers could complain about that was already closed in February this year. And all that happened in the last 10 months. It's not even a year yet. And of course, many more things. I think you all know them. In Trump administration 1, the Silicon Valley was more on the side of democracy, as you might remember. And today, in Trump 2, the Silicon Valley sits on the dinner table of the Godfather and kisses his ring. So, when you look at that, it's a well-paid dinner, by the way, because when we think of the big, beautiful Bill Act, which gives just alone Amazon, the 17 billion tax savings, it was worthwhile sitting there and having a dinner with Trump. So, digital services and digital businesses, and that was stated by the Handelsblatt a couple of weeks ago, became a weapon. And I wonder, what else do we need and what else do you need to understand that there's a change out there and we have to change our behavior and we have to have a new attitude to the hyperscalers on the US side, but also on the Chinese side. What are you doing to secure your data? What are you doing to secure your businesses? And what are we doing? Well, we as a Schwarz Group, we invested in a sovereign German cloud in 2017. We bought a major cybersecurity company in Israel in 2021. And we are now one of the leading cybersecurity companies in Germany with customers such as SAP, Commerzbank, and many others. And, well, we are actually investing heavily in cybersecurity, cloud services, digital sovereignty. As you might have read, we invest about 11 billion in the coming years in Germany's largest data center close to Berlin. And thinking of that, I would also mention the other topic, which is a major topic for you guys here, it's AI. We are already taking more than 1 billion decisions every night, even today, on AI. And talking about that, the next step, which we will invest in, and we already invested, is quantum. Without quantum, we will not be able to process all the data which is out there and which we will need for our businesses. So we already invested in that. And Gunther and I, we were just talking behind the stage about that, and so I keep it brief with my startup here, and with our start here, sorry, and we would like to go into a Q&A after that. So finally, I would like to state and say, thinking of what I just said and thinking about the geopolitical challenges that we see out there, I hope really that this is a wake-up call for Europe. I strongly believe in Europe, and I keep saying in my speeches that if there was a European nation, let's say a united Europe, I would hand in my German passport and ask for a European passport. I strongly believe in Europe. We are a European company, and well, what we need is to stand together as Europeans, not to fight against the Chinese or against the Americans. It's not a game against someone. But I think we have to stand together, we have to be waking up to help each other and work together for a strong Europe. And actually, additionally, what I'm a big fan of is made in Germany. I'm born in '71, and when I grew up, there was a made in Germany, and that is doing something with me when I speak about made in Germany. And I strongly believe that a strong Germany is good for a strong Europe. So I think we need a new European approach. We should be bold about that. And we have everything in Europe. We have everything we need. We just have to get off the beaten tracks. And all we need is courage. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gerd, for this short presentation, which gives us enough time to have a Q&A session with our audience. And maybe we start immediately with, if I may, a question. I mean, now everybody talks about digital sovereignty. But when you started doing that, you mentioned 2017, why did you do that? I mean, there were so many good companies, tech companies, the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Googles, and they basically offered services. How did you know at that time that you need your digital sovereignty to basically become more independent?
Well, independence, that's the main word, you know. So for us, we are the third largest employer in Europe. We are the 11th largest employer in the world. And independency is a very important thing for us. And coming from retail, we are working with so many producers, and we already have so many producers producing for us the products that we need. So independency is core to us from retail. But it's also core in finance, for example. So when we think of UniCredit and Commerzbank, which is what is going on at the moment, we are operating with more than 800 banks around the globe. So we are even independent on that. So if there was just 2 or 3 banks, then there is a strong dependency on each of them banks. But talking about 800 banks, so we are independent. And what we saw 2016, 17, and to be honest, I mean, we are working on the low end of the market price-wise in retail, so we are a discounter. We have to take care of our cost structure. And what we saw was just the pricing. The pricing of the hyperscalers just had one direction, and it was going up, going up, going up, going up. And so every year, 10, 12% price rise. So that was one of the major topics that we had, and we said, okay, when we look at that, first of all, we are not independent, and independency means to have the freedom of choice. So I'm not saying we're not working with Microsoft. I'm not saying we're not working with Google. But I'm saying we have to be independent, and we have to have the ability to choose. And so we saw the pricing, and we said, okay, if that keeps on going, and by the way, it went like that the last years, we have to think about our cost structure. We have to be independent of that, and that was the starting point.
Very interesting. So the floor is open. If you have any questions, then you can ask them. I mean, I have a lot of questions. So if you don't have any, then I just stick to it. I mean, talking about independence, you recently basically made a move for the entire company away from the Microsoft products that so many of us know to Google Workspace. Can you elaborate a bit on what is behind this move?
So first of all, that's what I just mentioned as well. Get off the beaten tracks. So if I was talking to many people and out there, most of the people think there's just Office. It's Microsoft Office, and that's what we work on, and that's it. So it's almost a monopoly on that. And the behavior of Microsoft is like a monopoly. Talking about pricing and so on. So we had an idea thinking about, is there anything out there which could help us? And there was Google. And we had 2 topics. One was price, and second was sovereignty. And so the questions we brought forward was, where is our data stored? What are you doing with our data? What is AI doing with our data? And the answers which were given by Microsoft were not really helpful for us. So we went out in the market and had a look at that, and we spoke with Google, and Google was willing to store our data on our cloud, which helps us to be sovereign. So Google, by the way, was the only hyperscaler which respected our will to sovereignty. And I spoke with Satya about that, and he was not really interested in sovereignty. I spoke with Sundar about that, and Sundar was interested. He understood what we wanted, and he understood that as Europeans, we do need a certain kind of sovereignty, and he helped us to get our own cloud, our own workspace on cloud.
How do you view the situation in Europe with respect to the companies? I mean, many rely on the US hyperscalers. They basically did that maybe because they did not have a choice at that time. Do you see a trend towards basically more digital sovereignty among the large companies in Europe, also the governments? I mean, they also basically typically rely on US data hosts.
Yeah, so there is a trend, I have to say, but it's a long way from awareness to action. So when I spoke with politicians, CEOs, whatever, years ago, there was not really an awareness for that. And we have something in our company, we call it Act Ahead. That's why we started in 2017. And many companies didn't realize what's going on out there. So the first thing which they needed to get was the awareness. So now they are aware of the situation, but the next step is to get into action. And that's even harder, you know. So the awareness is out there, but the action is not really out there yet.
So any advice? I mean, your motto at the company is voraus handeln, acting in advance. So this is something that you probably also would give as an advice to all the companies present here.
Well, acting ahead, I mean, it's always better than to have regrets afterwards. You know? That's how it is.
Absolutely. So I see at least now a couple of questions here. Philip Gabbard.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's extremely impressive what you did in digital and frankly also what you did in cyber. But what about AI? AI is tough. I mean, it's price competitive right now. I have the impression, you know, prices went down by over 99%, but it's totally in US and Chinese hands at this point in time. And it is a very important technology, obviously, and we're going to talk about it a lot. Any thoughts you want to share on that?
Well, AI is well, it's definitely an upcoming theme, and you're going to talk about that. But on AI, there are so many different things. We talk about large language models, we talk about short language models. And obviously, to be sovereign means you have the freedom of choice. Of course, we are working with Google and AI, you know? But at the same time, we are working with Aleph Alpha in Germany with a sovereign AI, with the short language models. So it's like a pattern that you put together. I agree with you. We cannot stop working with the Americans. We cannot stop. Well, Chinese we can stop, but with the Americans we can't. You know. But it's like a pattern that you put together. So on the large language model, it's going to be on the American side. We work together with Gemini and with Google. On the short language models, we work in Germany with Aleph Alpha.
Following up on that question, I mean, could you elaborate a bit on how basically AI gives you a competitive edge? You mentioned the 1 billion decisions that you made overnight. So how does AI really help you in doing these decisions?
It's about productivity for us. So for example, when you look at our assortment and when you look at how we order products in our warehouses for the stores, we take into consideration what is the weather like, is there a bank holiday, how many customers will be in the day in the store in the day, what kind of product will be bought, you know, is it summer, is it spring, is it fall, and we put all these things together. And we bring in the logistics part as well. How is the truck transported? And is it full or is it just 50% full, which is never happening with us. We are always more than 90% full in the trucks. And then which way does the truck have to drive to get the best outcome on that? So it's about productivity, and we put that together, and that helps us a lot to save money. You know, as a discounter, we always take care of our cost structure.
Maybe switching to the sustainability topic, because I also find that interesting that you basically decided to move into Pre-Zero as a company that basically helps you in basically better controlling the whole supply chain, the waste supply chain, also doing basically the circular economy. Is that something that you would view as a profitable opportunity when you basically go into the circular economy, which always basically was viewed as expensive, more expensive compared to just buying the new products? So how did you basically envisage that this is an opportunity, a business opportunity for you?
So frankly, we started as a cost reduction program.
Okay.
You know, in 2009, I founded the company myself together with one colleague. We were two of us. Today we are about 30,000. We are on 4.2 billion euros of turnover on that. And we started as a cost reduction program. And discount is per se sustainable, because we are not driving with trucks with 50% of workload, you know, so we are driving with 90% and more. We switch off the light when we leave a room, you know, so these are the things that we do, you know, even in the tiny bits we are working on that. And when you combine that, then it's sustainable. And we started in a cost reduction program at first. We found out that we can handle it very well. And the combination of economy and ecology, that worked out well for us. So the achievement we have is we earn money on that. And at the same time, it's a clear stack to say, we are working on sustainability.
Okay. Very visionary. Here's another question that I want to give.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I just saw that 30 seconds.
This is, yeah, we should take that.
What?
I'd like to go back to the end of your speech before speaking about leadership, speaking about turning awareness into action.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, how do you build trust that you mentioned is exactly what we need today?
Authenticity. That's the word. Authenticity. So we're not talking about the things that you should do. We are already doing these things. And once we've done them for us, for 600,000 employees in a company all across Europe in 33 countries, if we can handle that, why can't you? In smaller companies, in smaller authorities, in smaller organizations. So I think it's authority. It's authenticity. All right.